Hello Facebook friends, it is Kara here with Kinsley's Creative Palette, and we are painting our door hanger size. Let me show you this bad boy. Look how big it is. We are painting our door hanger sized back to school project. Hello Lisa. Last week, if you joined live, we painted, hello Kathy, we painted this on the clipboard, except for I didn't put a name on it yet because my kids have not started school, and so I wanted to be able to customize it. But for the big door hanger, which is what we're doing, hey Kimberly, this one, Kimberly I think asked me yesterday, is this too big? When she cut it out, look, it's not too big. And let me show you real quick, because when it sits on your paint table, sometimes you'll think, oh my gosh, that's way huge. This is the ghost that we are painting for our October virtual paint party. September. And I wanted to show you. So this piece, because it's rectangular, looks super big. But when I put the ghost on top of it, which the ghost doesn't look that big, when I put the ghost on top of it, it's almost the same. It's just the square. So when I make my, yay Kimberly, she's painting along with us. When I make my tall door hangers, not the ones that are more either circle or square shaped. Hey Deidre, I always make them around 22 by 17, approximately. So like this one is like 21 by 16. And so this is just slightly larger. But I put a coat, my first coat of paint on my door hanger was chalk paint because it covers super well, and because I was running low on acrylic. So I'm gonna put one more quick coat of chalk paint on here. And let me get my paintbrush and my microfiber towel. I'm going straight from the water where my brush was just washed to my towel, and then just back and forth and get those bristles right back where they were. Okay, now my brush, the water is out of my brush, so I can go into my paint. If you put your brush that's been in the water into your paint without drying it off, it changes the, I'm gonna say chemical makeup of the paint, and it doesn't cover as well, kind of like watering it down. So this is the chalk paint that I'm using. You can buy it at Home Depot. It's like $17 for 30 ounces. And I need to get something and open this. My pliers. If you are new here and you have not downloaded this free template, it will be up, oh gosh, I think through Monday. I think is the day that I turn it off, and then I have another project. It'll be our last free project this year that we'll be doing together, and it's coming next week. If you're on my email list, you'll be getting an email about it. So make sure if you're not already on that you jump on. Okay, so I've got my paintbrush. I'm dipping it straight into the can. I put a lot of paint on there. You see that, guys? It's like dripping. I'm gonna go really fast. I'm just gonna slap it on. My first coat just about covered, but I wanted to do a second coat just to make sure it was nice and opaque. You guys, you don't have to think about this, you just put it on. You can, yeah. My kids caught a new toad today, and they actually put the two toads that they already had this summer. One they found at the ball fields and one that they found at home. They put them all in a combined cage, so like they worked on that for like 3 hours today. And then they caught a butterfly. So, and it has a messed up wing, so they're gonna nurture it back to health. I don't know what you do with the butterfly that is hurt. I would think release it back into nature, but anyway, I don't know. Okay, so I'm just, hello Karen. I'm just slapping this paint on. If you just joined me, I'm using a chalk paint and I'm just putting a coat of white on. The reason I'm using the chalk paint is because it covers a little bit better than the acrylic does. And white is usually a 3 to 4 coats for me. So this way it just cuts down and I just have to do 2 coats. And it's not gonna be perfect, but we're gonna paint such a cute design over the top of it, no one's gonna look anyway. So here we go. I am gonna hit this with the blow dryer real quick and grab a drink real quick, and then I'm right back. So don't go anywhere. I'm not leaving you. Okay friends, if you're just joining me, we are painting the big version of our back to school sign. Last week we painted the chalkboard, or the clipboard, sorry. My cute chair. Came from IKEA years ago, but I love it. It swirls, and what's so awesome is it won't roll unless you're sitting in it. So it won't, like, if somebody pushes it, or my kids, it's not gonna go rolling across the floor. It's really awesome. Anyway, so my IKEA chair. I'm gonna have to figure out how to, it is comfy. I have to figure out how to show y'all this. So I'm gonna move my camera and we're gonna get started. So I printed my template, and this is what you got free if you signed up. The link is in the cover image of the page. It goes away Monday, so if you didn't get this project, please, please, please opt in and download that so that you don't lose out. The videos will be up through, I believe, next Friday, and then they're coming down. So if you want to watch this live or watch the replays, make sure you watch them before then. Okay, so I have this huge template that I cut out, you can see, and taped together. I traced it onto my board, and then I cut my board. If you missed the tools that I used to do that, that was in a live from last week when I painted our clipboard. So go back and watch that for all of my tips and tricks for getting your wood cut, what kind of wood to buy, what kind of saw to use, all that kind of stuff is in that video. So this one we're gonna focus on, I'll put that away. We're gonna focus on actually painting this. So the first thing that I wanna do is draw my lines. But instead of the normal technique where I take my tracing paper, this is just carbon paper, and put underneath here, I'm gonna draw these lines with a paint marker. And so I actually am just gonna do it with a straight edge. I'm not gonna try to use those lines because it's just gonna take a lot more time. So let me find a straight edge. Let's see. The dogs are barking. I don't know why. Here, I think we'll use this. Okay. All right. Lisa Burkhart just jumped on. All right, friends. So the first line is always further down because that's where the kids would write like their name, their date, and the subject or whatever. So this one is going to go a little bit further. And I'm going to try to make these as straight as possible, but I can't promise anything. Here's my paint markers. All right, guys, I showed y'all last week. Kimberly, I do too. I have a trimmer, so I get it. I showed y'all last week my favorite paint pens. I only have them in black and white, and I don't want my lines to be black or white, so I'm gonna try this paint marker. This is, gosh, you getting paint all over me? Oh, it's just on the side. This is one of the Painters not my favorite. If you can get the Posca pens, that's what I highly recommend. And I looked today, a lot of customers have said that Joann's is carrying them. My Joann's is not. We live in a smaller town and they're not carrying them. So I'm just gonna use what I have and we're gonna make it work. So I'm gonna set my straight edge down. Let me move this way so you can see. Is that the way? Yeah. And then I'm going to draw my lines just like that. Okay, now I'm gonna pick this up. When you pick it up, this is what you have to do every time. You need to wipe the paint off so that it doesn't smudge. And then you're gonna set it back down, same place. What size is this hanger? Who's that? That's Christy Phillips. Hello, Christy, welcome. It is 22 by 17 approximately. That is how long or how large most of my tall door hangers are. So this one's pretty big. If you want to see it in relation to the ghost that I cut out, you can watch the replay because I showed the difference. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry for just a second. If you want, you can then go this way so that that has a chance to dry, or you can just wait. I'm going to hit it with the blow dryer between all of my lines so that they can dry and we can move on. You're so silly. You want to come show everybody? No. Okay. Shut the door, babe. Alright, so let's do our next one. Now this one I'm not going to go down quite as far. But I'm going to try to keep them straight. I wish I had brought over... Oh, man, my nose is itching. I wish I had, oh, you know what? I'm gonna use this. This will be even better. Let me grab this sheet real quick. All right, so at the studio, I always keep yardsticks for when we have lines that are longer than a ruler. So normally that's what I would use over there. But I just found this sheet of cardboard. And so I'm gonna do it from this side. My lines are gonna be pretty wide. They don't have to be perfect, but if you wanna make sure, like if you're using a straight edge like this, if you'll line it up right on the edge, you can make sure that that line's gonna be straight. So like by lining it up over here, I know that that line's gonna be straight. Now this one is gonna be not quite as perfect because it's cardboard. Oh, sorry, I had to reprime my pen. And because it's cardboard, and so it has a little bit more give to it. But it's still gonna be better than trying to paint these lines. Okay, let me show you. That line wasn't as perfect as my last one, but that's okay. So you can either do this one or you could go back to using a different kind of straight edge or a ruler. I think I want to go back because I think I liked how smooth the other one was. So now we're going to come here. I think that's about right. And these paint markers don't work near as well as the Posca pens. I'm going to wipe that off so I don't get any of that blue on my white. I'm going to put it back. I'm going to prime my pen again. To prime it, I just push straight down on the tip. Who else is on today? Anybody else want to jump on and say hi? Y'all see this? My kids have been playing all day today. I don't think they're ready to go back to school. Hi, Susan from Massachusetts. Kimberly, yes, it is. And honestly, if I had a Posca pen, it would go even faster. But it's these are just not nearly as good. Okay, next one. And Kimberly, if you missed when I painted the clipboard, I used colored pencils to do my lines, so I didn't even use paint, and they turned out really cute. So when you're painting something, that doesn't always mean that your entire project has to be painted. Sometimes I mix what I'm using. Oh man. Telling y'all, those Posca pens have me spoiled. Because I would already have all these lines knocked out if we had Posca. Okay, I just had some bleed through, so I'm gonna grab it really quick. I'm gonna wipe it off. Okay, get a yardstick. Susan, I left all of my yardsticks over at the studio. But normally, yes, I would get a yardstick. That is what I would normally do. Okay, I'm gonna leave those spots and I will fix those in a minute. So let's finish this. I think I only need one more line after this. Okay, what kind of pens do you use? Okay, so Suzanne, that is a great question from Georgia. My favorite pens are these, but I don't have them in any colors except black or white. Can y'all see that? They're Posca pens. And so until I get those, I'm having to use my painters, which are not my favorite, but you can buy them at Walmart, Home Depot, well, you might, Hobby Lobby, any of those kind of places. So that's what I'm using right now, but I am going to order a whole set of Posca pens in the near future. Is it a marker? It's a paint pen. The Posca pens are also, I think they're paint pens. They work just like paint if they're not paint. But these painters, you have to prime over and over and over. Posca, P-O-S-C-A. They are in my Amazon shop on my website. If you want to look there so you can see the size and all of that I use. Okay, I'll set this down and do one more. Oh, right there. Okay, I know y'all can't see this last line. I'm sorry. I didn't want to move my board and put my hand in wet paint. Okay. That line's a little bit crooked. See if I can fix it. Okay. All right, friends. So I have all my lines on my board. My bottom one got a little bit crooked, but I'm okay with that. I'm wiping off my straight edge, which I just used a folder that is plastic. And then we are going to, before we move on, let me show you where we're at. We just have our lines on there. And I know it looks a little bit rough, but we're gonna fix it. I gotta find my, oh, there's the lid. I'm gonna put this painter pen up, and oh, I'm gonna need red, I think. Is that the color I need for over there? I'm gonna need the red one. I'm gonna do the red too. I'm gonna grab that again. And we're gonna do this red one. Will be going down this way. But I'm gonna see if all this is dry so I can set this folder down this way. Okay, so this one is gonna go, this is gonna be our line going down the side. Now, if you wanna get really technical, since it's a sheet of notebook paper, you could use your drill and you could drill holes in the, like the 3-ring binder type holes. So like 1, 2, 3. That would look really cute. I may do that when I'm all finished painting. Okay. So I'm just gonna draw this line, get it as straight as I can. This is a fine tip versus the, I think that was called like a medium tip a minute ago. But I'm just using it just like I would a regular marker. Suzanne, did you download the free template that I gave away? Let me know in the comments if you downloaded the template, and then I'll answer your question. What are you making, Susan? Nice question. We are making a back to school door hanger. Last week we made the clipboard version, the small version, so that you could like give it as teachers' gifts. I just didn't personalize it because I want to put my kids' teachers on, and we just found out yesterday actually who my son got, but we don't know who my daughter has yet. Oh, okay, so Suzanne, that's why I wanted to know. Don't apologize. So we are making this back to school door hanger, but through Monday, if you look at the top of the page, the cover image, if you'll click on it, there's a link there where you can go and get this free template so that you can paint this too. And this video tutorial will be up through, I think, next Friday. And then it'll come down because I have a new project going up. Okay, so I don't know the exact spacing, but I just did it based on this. So I didn't actually measure, I just kind of eyeballed it. But before I move on, I need to touch up this white where I messed up the lines. And then we're gonna paint our apple, and you can either use carbon paper and you can trace it right onto your board, or you can freehand it if you want to. And then we're also gonna do, there's a little banner at the top that we are also gonna trace. Okay, so I'm going to use a smaller brush, and I'm gonna just touch up these mess ups. Now, I may have to go over them a couple times, but it's totally okay. My dog is outside barking his head off. Can y'all hear him? Hello, Karen. All right, I think that's pretty good. Oh, there's mine. All right, this dries pretty quick, so I'm gonna put on another coat, and that is just about covered. Now, friends, what I want you to remember is with these being door hangers, if they're hanging on your door, people aren't gonna come right up against them and inspect them. And like I tell all of my friends that paint with me in the studio, you gotta leave your perfectionism at the door, because the only thing perfect is a computer generated image. And that's not what we're doing. So give yourself some grace, be okay with some little mistakes. It just makes it more personal. All right, so I didn't put my lid back on tight because I might make another mistake. well, I know I'll make another mistake, so I'm gonna leave that. Yes, Charlene, so in our download, the color of the lines were green and red, but I did mine blue and red. And last week when I did the clipboard, I actually used colored pencils to do my lines, and I did them in blue and red too. I like the blue and red better because to me, most of my paper growing up was blue and red, so that's what color they are. I used the painter's pens, didn't like it, and I don't know what color this is. Oh, it just says blue. And then I used the red painter's pen. If I could have gotten them today, I would have gotten Posca pens in those colors because they work so much better. All right, so that's just about dry. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my carbon paper and I'm gonna take my template, which this is what you were given free in the download, so don't forget to go get it. Don't realize once you add details and lettering. Yes, Tiffany is that's so right. So once you add the details and the lettering, people aren't gonna notice the mistakes. They just kind of fade into the canvas, so to say. All right, so I'm gonna kind of line this up. Please know, because I did not trace my lines on here, my lines are not gonna be in the same spots, but that's okay. The whole idea was to just make it look like a piece of notebook paper. So I'm going to start with the apple down here. Actually, I'm gonna put it on this whole bottom quarter because I'm gonna trace the school part too. You are so welcome, Charlene. Now friends, I only have 20 more minutes to be on today before I have to take my kiddo to football. So if I don't finish this tonight, I will jump back on and finish it in the morning with you guys, okay? At least I'm gonna get it far enough that you'll understand what to do from here. All right, so I'm gonna trace this down here. I'm just using a pencil. I've got my tracing paper behind it. And it does not have to be perfect. Remember, only a computer-generated image is. Now friends, if you want a red apple, which I'm guessing you probably do, it usually takes about 3 coats of paint. So I always say when you're doing red or white, or yellow or orange, to start with those colors so that you can start putting extra coats. I am gonna outline everything in black. Sorry, hold on, let me have that please. Sorry, just a second guys. I can't see. No, goofballs. Okay, so then I'm gonna go and I'm going to trace this letter. Like I'm gonna trace all of this, but not in the inside. I'm gonna trace the outside because these letters are thick and I want to keep that same thickness. Now this is gonna take a little while, so settle in. For those of you like me that shake, this is the easiest way for me to letter my door hangers because I know they're going to come out looking good every time. The other thing I would say is invest in some Posca pens because those help so much. All right, so I am going to pretend like I traced all of this and I'm going to move my paper up. You got to keep this. You see how I have my hand resting on it so it doesn't move? You don't want this to move. If you can, let me grab some tape and then I'll show you where I usually tape it. As I picked up my tape dispenser, I realized like everything I own is pink. I mean, pink, 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 pink. Almost like pink. All right, so I'm gonna take this tape and I'm gonna tape this all the way to the back of the board. That way, if I have to come back and finish tracing my stencil later, I won't have to worry about it having shifted. Okay, so I'm going to do one at the top too. All right, so let me show you where I taped it. So I taped it here, here, and here. So now I can just gently lift the side of this up. Let me show you how awesome this transfer paper is. Look at that. You see that? Isn't that awesome? So I can just move it to another spot, set my template back down, and just keep tracing. Now, what's great is, if you'll notice, along the lines, you can see where you've already traced. So you shouldn't have to trace it again, unless your carbon paper wasn't underneath there. I'm gonna move it so I can do the banner, because I'm gonna go ahead and get some of that paint on today and get that part traced. Okay, so I moved my carbon paper. It's now under here. I'll get my pencil. What happened? And then we are gonna trace this on. Who all's painting along with me? Those dogs are barking like crazy. All right, I'm going to show you all this real quick. Look, look, look. Isn't that cute? Now, I'm going to guess I didn't have my carbon paper all the way over here, so I'm going to lift this up. You can snap a picture and put it in the comments. I just won't see it until I get off. See how far it went. I'll just wait. All right, so I'm going to get back to tracing down here. I'm going to move this over and finish tracing the word school. Okay, so you'll just hang out if you want for the next few minutes. We're going to finish tracing, and then I will try to get my first coat of red on. Oh. So sorry. You're headed home from work? Well, sweet friend, you can catch this later if you want to, or you can stay on and listen to us. My kids go back to school next Tuesday. Thank you, Kimberly. My kiddos go back to school next Tuesday, and no, Wednesday, sorry. And I leave for Canada on Tuesday, and I'm gonna miss their first day back to school and my son's first football game of the year. So I am dealing with the mommy guilt that comes with missing those important events, and reminding myself that it's the first year out of, gosh, how many that I have not missed. Alright, so school is traced. Move this so you can see the whole word. And I'm going to put this up here so I can do back to. I think I can get it all the way over there. Yes. Alright, let's see if I can do the whole back to without messing up. and I'm going to show y'all. So this is the corner that I don't think I got traced, but when I double check, I'm going to tape it on this other side before I lift so that I know I don't mess anything up if I do have to retrace something. So I'm going to show y'all how I do that. Kimberly, you're so smart. You're so smart. Kimberly said she taped 4 pieces of tracing paper together. Or carbon paper. That would be so much smarter. Me, I'm just moving it all under here. So, if today is your first day joining, I would highly suggest that before next Friday that you get your template downloaded and you watch the video where I painted the clipboards, because I gave tons and tons and tons of tips on paint, supplies, and all of that in that video. So before it comes down, I would highly recommend you go watch that so that you can paint your back to school door hanger. And by doing that, by downloading your template for the back to school project, you will be the first to know about the last free project of the year. And it's going to be super adorable. And we are doing it the week of September 16th through the 20th. And it's going to be, instead of like this, I kind of dripped it out over a long period of time. It's going to be super fast. So we'll do it all in one week. You'll start at the beginning of the week. You'll learn something on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and by Friday, you will have a finished project that you can hang on your door, you can give away as a gift, whatever you want to do with it. So it's going to be super fun. And all of my friends who downloaded my back to school template will be the first to know. All right, almost done tracing. I love this bee. When I hand letter, I'm not good at bees. It's one of those letters I really need to practice. Okay, so here is where the polka dots on the banner. Kimberly, go back and watch the clipboard and see how I put the polka dots on if you're going to do those tonight, because I don't think I'm going to get to that. I know I'm not going to get to that tonight because we've got football practice. All right, so I'm flipping my sign over. I'm taping this other side. I'm going to tape it in 2 places. 1, 2, but the short answer is I used my Posca pen. And let me show you that banner. You see how cute those dots are? I mean, I literally just dot. With these, you might need to make a little bit bigger dots, but I would still use a Posca pen. Okay, so I'm going to pull this tape. Sorry guys. I'll pull this up. Now I don't want to mess my template up, so I'm just going to push the tape back. Do that down here. Guys, these templates, you can reuse them over and over and over again. I like to store mine hanging up on pants hangers, like the cheap hangers you get at Walmart that kids' clothes or your clothes or whatever come on. That's what I like to use. All right, so see how I taped this side over here? So now I know when I lift up and I lay this back down that I can trace this and it's going to be in the right spot. So let me see how much did not trace the last time. Just looks like just this last one. So I'm going to trace that really quick and then I'm going to show this to you. I got it. Okay. All right, friends, so this one is traced and ready to paint. I'm gonna touch up the white one more time, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of red and what other color? We'll probably go ahead and do some yellow tonight, and then we'll finish it tomorrow. Okay, so here is, do y'all see how cute that is? Like, how easy is that gonna be to paint now? See that? All right, so I'm gonna try to tilt my phone down so that you can see better. And I'm gonna touch up that white one more time. Now, guys, because I have my phone tilted down, it's harder for me to see comments. So if you comment and I don't answer, I will look at these later and respond. But feel free to still ask questions, because I don't want you to have a question and forget. Okay, who was it? I think it was it Tammy that said most of your mistakes you won't be able to see after you paint. So what's funny is that spot that I was really worried about touching up is completely covered by my letter. So I'm just touching up a couple other spots. Sometimes when you push down on the carbon paper, if there are bumps in your canvas or in your board, it'll rub off. So sometimes you have to touch those up. But that's really it. And now all those imperfections are going to be covered up by my Posca pen. So I'm going to show you real quick before I put the red on the Posca pen and how I'm going to do my letters with that. So this is my Posca pen. It looks like a regular paint marker, but it works so much better. So I'm going to start right here on this number 2. Guys, did you see how smooth that was? So awesome. Like, you don't even have to worry about going over it again. Now, Kimberly asked, are we going to trace all of the stuff? I am going to trace all of mine, just because I think it looks better. But if you're going to do that, you're going to wait until your paint is all the way dry. I mean, blow dry that board until you can't blow dry it anymore, and then use a Posca pen, because that's so much easier. So I'm just outlining this letter or number. If you are just joining us, we're painting the large version, the actual door hanger of our back to school project. I know several of you have already gone back to school. We are late up here in Ohio, but I want to show you anyway. Okay, so this is the Posca pen. This is what I'm going to use. After I do that, I'm going to fill in with this. Now, if you want, you can fill in with paint. But to me, this dries quicker, goes quicker, and I know it's going to turn out beautiful. So I'm going to use my Posca pen to fill all of these in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline all of them and then fill them in. So let me jump to something else so that if you are painting today, you can kind of see. The next part that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my red paint. I'm going to use this thicker red. This is acrylic Americana. You can use the stuff that comes in these little bottles too. It's all acrylic paint. This stuff is just slightly thicker. So I'm going to put some of that in my egg carton, and I'm going to grab a brush. Guys, I'm going to use a pretty small brush to do the outer area. Let me show you my outer area of my apple. And then I'm just going to fill in. So that's all I'm doing. Now you can see the blue underneath this. If you want to, you could paint over your blue with white after you trace, like if you've already done your lines, but after you trace your apple on, so that then you wouldn't have to try to cover it up with red. You could paint it white first again. Does that make sense? Hopefully that helps someone. All right, so my first coat of red is on there. on my apple. I'm gonna let that dry. I'm gonna move up here to move my carbon paper before I get it all over me. I'm gonna move up here and paint the banner triangles right here. I'm gonna paint this red. So I do the outsides and then I fill in. Hey guys, the more detailed you're gonna be, the smaller your brush needs to be. Okay, so there's my red, and I'm gonna go ahead and do, because I've got a couple minutes, I'm gonna do yellow. I'm gonna do this is just called yellow. It is an apple barrel color. Hello, Lisa. Lisa, I know you're just jumping on, so I was going to let you know I'm getting ready to head to football practice. So I was showing the beginning of this project, and then we're going to finish it tomorrow morning. All right, so my next one is going to be yellow. And can y'all see that? And Lisa, I know you're in my virtual paint party group, but if you, for some reason, did not download the back to school template, it is going away next week. So make sure that if you wanted it, you grabbed it, because that's a freebie. All right, I'm gonna do green next. Let's see, where's my, okay guys, I'm leaning over my water cup so that I don't drip on my sign. Looking for my microfiber towel. All right, we're gonna do green, turquoise. You are welcome, love. All right, let me get a little bit of green. And I'm gonna do true blue. I'm not gonna do turquoise. All right, so green is right here. Now this green is super transparent. I think I may switch greens. Let me try a different brand. Okay, let me try this Deco Art. That was a generic brand, so let me try this. See if this will cover better. Yes, look at that. Sometimes, guys, the brand will make all the difference. Okay, so there's the green. I'm also going to come down here, move on my board so you can see, and I'm going to paint my leaf. Green. Alright, and then, guys, I think I'm going to have to wait for the rest of it until tomorrow, because we've got to leave in about 5 minutes, and I need to go make sure my little guy has his water. But, so tomorrow morning, join me, and I will finish painting this. If you can't join me tomorrow morning, totally okay. I will post it after I'm done painting. I will post it in the group, and it'll be up until at least next Friday. That's what I'm promising. So if you want this template, if you want to watch the videos, just make sure that you download your template and watch them all before next Friday. All right, friends, I'm headed to football practice. So I will talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Thanks for joining me, guys. Bye.